Welcome back to No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. The basketball community has been buzzing the past week after the NBA announced the 75th anniversary team. Actually 76 players, though, thanks to a tie in the voting process. So there were a total of 88 voters on the selection panel, including current and former players. Also, guys that made the 50th and 75th team got to vote in this thing. We're going to talk about that in a second. I don't know how you feel about it, but it already feels a little jank. But there was also coaches, team and league execs, WNBA legends, media. So now that we got a chance to fully digest the list, it's time to go in on it with the former player who, might have had an argument to be on it in yourself, but didn't get to vote. So I'm curious to hear your opinions on the situation. But before we get into it, I just got to give a few quick details about the list. So voters were asked to rank the 75 greatest players regardless of position, so that didn't have anything to do with it. All 50 players from the 50th anniversary team were grandfathered into the 75th anniversary team. 11 active players made the list, guys like Giannis, Melo, Steph, AD, KD, Harden, LeBron, Kawhi, Dame, CP, and Westbrook. 6 international players, Giannis, Duncan. Duncan's from the U.S. Virgin Islands, so it's but you know what I'm saying. But I read that, I was like, wait, but Ewing, Nash, Dirk, and Akeem. But first things I got to ask you is, do you feel like you were snubbed?
Snubbed? No.
You had no place on that list?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear you say that.
Not at all.
Hooper never, because even me, I have a little bit of snub.
Look, I'm realistic, all right? I'm realistic. Like, if this is like the hardest 75 to guard, yes, I'm arguing. But we're talking about the greatest. It's supposed to be the greatest 75 that basically walked through this game.
Okay, so when you look at the selection process, obviously it was a contingent, I say 88 voters, media, coaches, a bunch of different people. Do you have any issues with the selection process?
Yes, a few. Like, people who are supposed to be on this list cannot be voting.
Yeah.
Collusion.
Exactly.
You vote for me, I vote for you. Like, it's collusion. You just can't have players or active players or ex-players or rich. You can't have, the players who are actually voting has no parts of being on this list. You get unbiased selections. Yeah. The fact that you're saying it's the best 75 ever, which means you have to take the original 50 out and put them out, and then you select the best 75.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to anything, like a scoreboard, the top scorer in 1950 might not be that today when you do this list. He might not even be in the top 1,000. So you can't name him, a top 75. If he's been removed, he's been removed. That's what happens with records. They get moved. People move. So your stats have to withstand time. That's just how shit works.
Yeah. I think for me it's janky just from the standpoint, I got asked to do one of these lists and they sent a list of like 300 guys on there. I'm like, look, like 30 or 40% of the guys on the list I never saw play a lick of basketball. So I can refer to my pops and his generation. He could tell me, the Elgin Baylors of the world and how dominant they were. But when we're making this list and crafting this list, and of course you're going to pick 75 people, there's always going to be some bias. It feels like some recency bias in terms of, selecting guys currently who you've gotten to see a lot more than guys in years past. Also, we're talking about guys from the 50s and 60s. Let's just be honest, that was a different league back then. There was shit going on in the world then with the civil rights movements and racism where it wasn't as many black players in the league. So you got some white players who may be gumps in today's current NBA who are now getting shot. I'm not going to say no names that have any fan bases come after me. But, after the list was announced, Jamal Crawford tweeted, "We need our own list," basically saying that players should be the ones who are driving the voting for these things. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yes, because that's what I mean. But like Jamal Crawford is not on this list.
Yeah.
So him ranking it is unbiased. So, him ranking and voting, and the people who are not making it are voting for who they think is top 75 is more accurate because they don't have any skin in the game. You know what I mean? The older players who are voting are going to protect their legacy. So they're also, all those people that's voting, they're going to all vote for each other. You know what I mean? To protect the legacy of, what they did. So that's the bad part about it. So you got to pick the guys who weren't selected from the 50s, 60s, 70s and let them vote on. You got to remember, they get to see the new craft. So they can say, well, yeah, he wasn't like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, because you got to remember, back then, you're talking about 8 teams, 4-4, 12 teams. I mean, you got AAU schedules. So, when you think about an all-star, if there's 15 players on an all-star team and you have 4 teams in the East, top 2 teams, all those players make the all-star game. So you can't really, you gotta be able to curve some of the things to today and uncurve. If you didn't have a 3-point line and you averaged 28 without the 3-point line, well, add that 3-point line and you were a shooter, okay, we can give you 31 we can add some more points to your resume. But when it comes to all-stars and stuff like that, and I think personally that there's too much emphasis on championships. Championships or team awards, you gotta have a great team. You have to be a dominant team to win a championship. It's just not a one-player, thing. So that can't be the groundwork. That can't be the sundae. Okay. That has to be the cherry on top. That's what puts you over the top. So if 2 people are tied, okay, he has 1 championship, he has 6. Okay, there you go. You are the tiebreaker, but you can't have 6 and you as a bench player and you got 4,000 total points for your career, and they're like, oh yeah, he was 6. He got 6 championships, and ain't had nothing to do with him.
That's the problem I think that we run into, because you don't want to devalue winning, but winning is a part of a bigger process, right? It's a team accolade, like you said. If you get drafted to a trash ass team and ownership makes no effort whatsoever to improve that team, you can eventually go somewhere free agency, try and move and shake to get those wins and get that ring, to get those values up out of it. But that's not a guaranteed thing, and that's not looking at any teams in particular. But if you're on these winning championship teams, those guys, I feel like, get held to a higher standard and a higher plateau than the guy who has the winning personality, or he's a winner. He's just a winner on a shitty team. And that's something he can't control, something that's out. So when you look at that, is there a guy, if we're talking about guys who should feel the most disrespected out of this, who do you feel like, seeing this top 75 greatest players all time, but 76 players on the list, who's the guy that should feel the most disrespected by not making the list?
The most disrespected? Probably Dwight Howard.
Okay.
I mean, if Patrick Ewing is in, come on, when you're talking about, we're talking about standalone stats. Your stats have to reflect what you did as a player, right? You got to remember, the championship is the last thing that happens during the season, right? Yeah. What did you actually do as an individual? Were you dominant, right? So when you compare stats, you look at his resume and you're like, wait, how is he not actually on this list? This is not even a bubble. He's not even a bubble player.
Yeah.
He's not even a bubble player. He's actually you're in this. So that's one of the players I'm like, oh, that's if Ewing is in, Dwight is in front of him. Sorry, he's in front of you. It doesn't matter when you match up you guys' accolades. It's just sorry, big fella. He's more. You got to remember, he's more defensively minded versus his offense. So you're talking about a guy who's going to have 14,000 rebounds, 3-time defensive player of the year. All that's going to be all his accolades. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things
So we're looking at the old adage that defense wins championships. Dwight, 3-time defensive player of the year. I want to say he had 5 all defensive selections. Mm-hmm. Do you value that the same as you would an offensive guy, let's say, who's got 3 MVPs?
Yes. When it comes to not necessarily MVP, but more of a scoring title.
Okay, exactly.
So you got
that makes more sense. The MVP is both sides of the ball, but scoring champ versus a defensive player of the year, would you hold them on the same?
Yeah, hold them on the same.
But do you feel because I don't feel like the outside world does that. I mean, we pretend defense wins championships, but people want to see the 130 to 120 games. They don't really want to, that area.
But you got to remember, when it comes to a defensive player, it's how does he change the game? How does he, affect the outcome? So, when you're looking at the list, you actually have to see, was this guy an offensive player, defensive player, a little bit of both. So you have to be able to grade them on what their specialty was. So, if you're looking at a list that this guy was a defensive juggernaut, he has 12 all defensive teams, defensive player of the year 5 times in a row, and he has 10,000 points. Okay, I got to curve his points to what he was skilled at. You know what I mean? And that's how you have to really do the list.
So when you look at a guy like Dwight, guy you got to play against, how impactful is he on the court? Like you, as a bucket-getting machine, when you see Dwight out there, how much is he changing your game?
That's what he was. To the point where he was considered one of the best players in that league at that time. Is who's arguably the most valuable player in the league, him or LeBron, him or that's where he was. Yeah. So I don't even know why this is even the discussion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not even that's not even a discussion. I have almost 15 names that gets pulled out. That gets pulled out and he's in. What's so funny is he's not even replacing anybody. He should already be in. That's the problem. You cannot talk about, I don't like him because he did this. That has no bearing on a guy top 75. It has no bearing on Hall of Fame. Everybody who's voting need to take their personal interests out of this process. So like T.O. not being, first ballot, it's bull.
Yeah, for sure.
Who cares about what you think of him as a person?
Most
that
definitely.
has nothing to do with what they did on that court.
So when you look at Dwight, I think, something that you mentioned was that you had 15 guys that you would take out ahead of him. Give me 2 guys on that list right now.
I can give you 15.
All right, give me the 15. Pull out the paper.
Okay, so you got to think.
Wait, before you go, I just want to say I really appreciate you came through with the handwritten notes, pages on pages on pages.
Because I had to like scribble scrabble, kid shit. I had to really put it to to the eye. I gotta see it. I gotta see what everyone's looking at.
Okay.
And then question. So so you have 75 players, right? You got players that if we take your name, this is how it should be done. You take the name off the player. Their stat should be able to tell the story.
Okay.
Their personal stat. You take the name, you take the championships off, and say, all right, evaluate the player now. So you got a player that's, all right, it says 7-time scoring champ. Is he in the Hall of Fame? Is he one of these players? And I'm like, 7-time scoring champ? Well, 7-time scoring champ means he was 7-time All-NBA, at least 7-time All-Star, at least. He probably won 2, 3, maybe 4 MVPs. Yes, you can. Just that one stat tells me what could possibly be the rest of his resume. Yes, he's in. So you have to be able to take that ring shit. That's to put the stamp on the top. Boom, boom. So who I will put up in the air. So out of the 75, who I would say, all right, we're gonna take you off, and then we'll cancel from there. So somebody like Robert Parrish, right? The name, yes. 9-time All-Star, fan vote, popularity vote. The key is 2-time All-NBA player. Well, that's a different thing. That means in your era, when you was the greatest, or when you were dominant, you was a 2-time top 15 player. 2-time top 15 player.
It might have been top 10 at those points. I think they were only doing first and second team back
top 10. He was only top 10 2 times then. You know what I mean? So it's top 10 in the league 2 times. So as an individual, you wasn't necessarily just a dominant player as an individual. So I will put him as a bubble player. Okay, we're going to take your name out right now, put you on the board. Put you on the board,
Hey,
so it's fair.
Y'all wanted the real. We coming with the real. I know you've seen other shows.
I know
do
he has
lists.
to listen. He has 23,000 points, 14,000 rebounds. So he might end. He
You're
might
not rolling with the high.
But I said he
Jimmy?
might end up. He might end up in it. But right now we're gonna take your individual stats and put them in the air.
Okay.
Dave Bing, 7-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA, 1 scoring champ, 18,000 points. We're gonna take you out, put you up here. Okay, we'll go.
Hopefully there's no Dave Bing fans out there.
I'm just saying, Billy Cunningham. Put him up there. Right? Okay, just gonna put him up there. Anthony Davis. With all the young, I don't like doing things on curves. what their potential is,
Yeah.
your stats have to stand right today. Anthony Davis, up there. Dave, was it Debuchy?
Debuchy, nah, yeah, I'm
Up
never
there.
gonna try it.
Get up there.
I'm not gonna Moses Moody like Purdy did.
It is 8-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA player. Get up there.
Yeah.
Get up there.
I hate when we have these discussions and people start talking all-stars. Like, he was the best, half season? Like, that's not even, you know what I mean? It's like, you were a half-season guy. You were the best half-season. It's not like you had I think All-NBA is kind of like in football. It's the same deal. Like, All-Pro is more valuable than Pro Bowl.
Yes. So you got Sam Jones, 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA, 1-time champ, 15,000 points. We're going to put you up there, right? Kawhi Leonard, got to put you up there.
Ooh.
Right? I mean, I got to put you up there right now. I got to put your stats up there. Bob McAdoo. This was weird because he was very dominant early. So, his last All-Star was at the age of 26.
Yeah.
And he retired at 34. So I got to put you up there just to reevaluate.
Okay. I mean,
that's what I said. The up there is just to reevaluate. I'm taking you out of the list. I just got to reevaluate and do, minuses.
So I'm glad my dad's not here right now because he very well may have tried to fist fight you.
Probably, but I've got to remember, he can still possibly make it.
He can make it.
You just, so by the time we're done with all this out, there's probably 58 players. So we got to put players back in. So George Mikan.
The Mikan drill?
That's cute. But this one, I'm sorry, whoever was in that era, 10,000 points. But the biggest thing with this, I don't care what his accolades were, he was a center who shot 40% from the field.
I appreciate the Mikan drill, but you got to get his ass
Number
out
what
for
I'm
that.
saying is,
you got to boot him for that.
You're a center, you're a center 40% from the field. I don't.
And this is old school days where it's easy to get buckets.
We're going to put you out there. I'm pretty sure with the rest of the list, there's no way George Mikan makes it in
So
the
I
top
feel
10.
like guys like that get in just off name value and the prestige of the league, and like, we got to take care of these
you
old
was
heads.
probably the original. That's cool, the original, but
He wasn't hooping against brothers in the hood, though. That's all I'm saying. He was,
I don't know who he was. If he wasn't, going against brothers and he shot 40%, that should be a whole nother. We got Willis Reed, 12,000 points, which is going to put you up there. Dennis Rodman, 6,000 points, 12,000 rebounds, 5 rings, put you up there. I've seen better.
I've seen the worm.
I've seen
Not
better.
The worm. He got to get in on hairstyles alone, though. He led the league in the most ridiculous flamboyant
Bill
style.
Sharman, you got 12,000 points, 4-time champ, 8-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA. Okay, but you're not top 50 with this rest of this list.
So what question I ask you, if you look at a guy like Bill Sharman with those accolades, then compare him to a guy like Dame. And Dame's a guy I'm rolling with.
Oh, no, he's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just had to ask.
Nate Thurman, 14,000 points, 14,000 rebounds. That's it. Bill Walton, that's my guy. 6,000 and 5,000. I'm sorry.
So I got to ask you about Bill, because that's a name that I felt like, and I love Bill. He played with my pops at UCLA, and I'm a Bruin myself, so I'm always going to show love to the Bruins. But just looking at his career is marred by injuries. When you compare that to a guy like Grant Hill, Grant's not on the list, Bill is. Do you feel like Grant would deserve to be on the list over a guy like Bill Walton?
Nope.
Okay.
Both of them don't belong to be in this list.
Okay.
Because that's what happens.
Okay.
That's what ends up happening. That's how you get a jaded list. You have one guy in, and someone looks at, you got, 6,000 points, 5,000 rebounds, right? And then you've been hurt and they put you in. I should be in. Like, no, he don't even supposed to be in here. So put him on the list, but I'm pretty sure, like Mikan, it's not going to make the final 75. Then you got Lenny Wilkins, which is a weird stat to me. It shows like 17,000 points, 9-time All-Star, no All-NBAs.
So at no point was he the best or top tier.
At no point he was a dominant player. He was never a dominant player in this.
But what would you, are you considering dominant just finishing All-NBA? What if he was third or fourth, and that's, the third or fourth best guard in the league? Would you not consider him dominant then?
Third, you're on that list. So that means
this is back in the day, though, when there's only, I believe, 2 teams. So it was the first team, second team.
Okay. First team, second team, there's only 12 teams.
Okay.
So that's...
The janky AAU, you're not getting the Euros, you're not getting a lot of the guys
So
that are
some of these all-stars are just, their team is good, so we're going to pull all 5. We're going to pull all five. So you got guys in the Hall of Fame that average 12 points. They 12 points a game. They came off the bench their whole career. But they're on championship teams. Has nothing to do with his skill level. We're almost done with it. Bubble. Dominique Wilkins. Put him back up there. 26,000 points, 9-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA. That's it. Put him up there.
You putting him up there with 7 All-NBAs and his bucket getting power?
Yeah, you just got to put him up there. All right.
Then I got his numbers handy. So what? 25.7 7 rebounds, 3 assists a game. But he's playing in that tough East though.
But that sounds amazing. So we're just gonna put you up because right now you're just a scorer. So right now you're just a scorer. So put you up there, right?
But bucket getting, I've never seen a game 1-0-0. You need to score. You need to get bucket.
Yeah, you're true. But we got to see. Okay, so I have 10-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, 2-time champ. 10-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, 2-time champ, 24,000 points.
What you doing with that?
What would you do with it?
I gotta hear the name.
But no, see, that's the problem. You want to hear the name.
But that'll inform.
But just the stat line itself, is it good enough so far?
I think the problem that we run into with a lot of these debates and discussions is there's no nuance, there's no context. We can't really get into deeper stuff. We got to just look at it flat at that level. I'd say, based on your criteria alone right now, probably getting the boot.
Okay, so that's Ray Allen. Put you up there.
But then I hear Ray Allen and know the difference he made on, like that Heat squad got LeBron a championship. I got to rock with him.
But he got LeBron a championship coming off the bench. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? That's why I said you can't let the championship bank it because the championship, like some people are like, oh, he got 2 championships. But what, was he the difference maker in that championship?
Yeah.
Well, he can say yes because of that shot. But for the most part, most of these people got 3-4 championships that they didn't even deserve. So you can't, that's why I say you can't use a championship as the front runner. It has to be the cherry on top. And then Melo, 27,000 points, 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 1 scoring title. Put you on a bubble. Got to put you up there.
Ooh, Melo. Hope you're not watching this.
James Worthy.
I don't agree with
right now, but that's what I'm saying. You're not like, I got to take the questionables out, put them up there for them to come back in as a solid 75.
So you're taking him out the club right now, but Melo very well might be on that list.
Well might be.
Does he have a table in the club or is he in gym pop just walking around?
All of them in gym pop right now. But he's
no bottle?
No. But when you put him in there, he's probably like 3rd in line.
Okay.
So, if you go down to 58 3rd, you good.
Okay.
James Worthy, 7-time All-Star, 3-time champ, 2-time All-NBA player. 16,000 points, 4,000 rebounds. You know what I mean?
But so I take a guy like James, right, playing on those dominant Lakers squads, where he had to share the sugar, he had to give the rock up. If he was on a whack team,
can't do that.
But see, to your point, if we're going to devalue winning, then we got guys that are on these stacked teams. How would have James performed if he was on another squad where he could have been, the main piece? But we can't ask those questions. I get
those questions.
I get it. But I want to ask just because shit. Here.
So we got Dame Lillard, 16,000 points, 6-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA. That's all. Boop. Up there.
Damn. Sorry, Oakland.
So Harden, 9-time All-Star, 3-time scoring champ, 7-time All-NBA, 1 MVP. Now he stays.
Okay. I was going to say, because I feel like that MVP puts him over the top.
Because it's him. It's his individual work. Exactly. Now you got Patrick Ewing, 24,000 points, 11-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Defense, no rings. He's probably second in line. He's probably first in line.
So, you told me you had 15 names that were on the bubble. Ended up being 21. But this is the guy I need to know. This is a name that doesn't get the respect it deserves. The guy who played with my pops with the Milwaukee Bucks, was drafted the year before my pops came, so he went on to greater things with the Denver Nuggets. Alex English. Now, Alex was very outspoken on Twitter when the list came out. Let me just quickly read what he said. He said, "Can't say I'm not disappointed for not being included on the 75th anniversary team after seeing the list. I felt the same after the first list of 50. I've always known that my understated style was conducive to being associated with such a flamboyant sport. Part two, especially when you start making the best of lists, I know my body of work as an NBA player stands up to the test, would put against many on this list. I'm content with that. I congratulate the players that were selected." So let me just give you a quick nugget on the former Denver Nugget, Alex English. So, talk about bucket getting. Led the 80s in total points scored. Did more for the mid-range game than any human being probably in league history. Look at who led the league in the 60s, 70s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. All made the list. Alex English is the only person who did not. Are you putting Alex English in that top 75?
Okay, so he has 25,000 points, 8-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA, and has 1 scoring title. Let's go in the list. Let's go up in the get in line.
Oof.
He has to get in line.
Okay.
He has to get in line. 8-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA, scoring champion, 25,000 points. I mean, there's no difference between Dominique Wilkins, Carmelo right now. They're bucket getters. I mean, right now he's not the best bucket getter. You know, that just has they call them empty points. That right now he's third in empty points. So,
Mr. English.
I had to throw back. You know what I mean? So that's why I say this. Like, I have no skin in this game.
That's why I feel like some of the voting should take, like, who had the butterest throwbacks?
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
Whose throwback are you wearing to the function? They should be included in
Like, I had to put Dane. Dane Zero, that's one of my guys. I got to put you in the top, and then we got to go from there.
Okay.
So who else, like, this is at the possibles, right?
So I got a question for you. Now, I'm going to give you a couple other guys first. I'm going to get to this guy because I already know it's going to set the internet ablaze when I hear your answer. But a guy like T-Mac or Vince Carter, do either one of them belong on the list?
Well, you know, the thing was, so somebody like T-Mac, right? You got to remember, it's no different than a Walton. You got injured. You didn't really get to do your career like the way it's supposed to. But, you know, you probably can't find 25 players in history that is more talented than him. We can say that. But as his resume is, 18,000 points, 7-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, 2-time scoring champ. Got to put you in the field.
I feel like we're basketball nerds right now. But this is the thing you have to do.
We got to put you in the field.
You got to be able to call out these things. What about Vince? So Vince,
8-time. Now this one, like, I'm pretty sure he won't make it because, I mean, he has 25,000 points. He's 8-time All-Star, only a 2-time All-NBA player.
Okay.
Put you in the list. Because you got to remember, if he's 2-time NBA player, that's in my era. That's in my era. So that means you were only top 15 2 times in your career. Your All-Stars matches popularity. So I don't have any value on that. So me looking at something that says 8 All-Stars and 2 All-NBAs, you was more popular, you know, than anything. So,
and this ain't the 75 most popular NBA
yeah, it
players.
is.
This
So
is the greater.
I got to put you on the list.
So I got to go shift it to a current guy. Klay Thompson, been super outspoken, took to IG after the list was announced, said that people don't value winning, was spotted at Warriors practice rocking a number 77 jersey that was gifted to him by Draymond Green, who they poked a little fun, saying he's the 77th, best player in league history. When you look at Klay, 19 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2-time All-NBA, 1-time All-Defense, 3-time champ, 5-time All-Star. Does he have any legitimate claim or stake to say that he belongs on this list?
Not right now. You got to remember, like, a player now, like a player today that's active right now, when you're talking about 7-8 years of a season, you're not going to have the accolades yet. Like, you're talking about, 5-time All-Star, 2-time NBA. You got to remember, I don't value the championships because there's 2 to 3 other players on that championship to help you. So I gotta see what your skill level is. You got a 1 defensive, So right now you have 11,000 points. You know, I got to evaluate your talent right now against someone who has 25,000 points, who has the same resume just without the championship.
I haven't got dressed up in a while for obvious reasons, but I had to go out to a nice dinner the other night. And I looked, and nobody would deny this, sexy as hell, in my new Indochino shirt and slacks. I bought my Indochino shirt online and got it delivered straight to my front door. I went with the Hayton white blue shirt, added a pocket, and to repeat the obvious, I looked and felt amazing. Indochino offers completely custom fitted suits, shirts, casual wear, and more at surprisingly affordable prices. Every piece is made to your exact measurements, and you can customize every detail. Choose everything about your suit from the fabric, lapel, monogram, and a statement linings. You can create a suit that fits you and your style perfectly. Indochino is now at select Nordstrom stores, giving you even more ways to get great fitting personalized clothing. Find your nearest location at Indochino.com. Right now, you can get $50 off any purchase of $399 or more by using code NOCHILL at checkout. That's $50 off a purchase of $399 or more at Indochino.com. Promo code NOCHILL. A few weeks ago, I was shipped some LMNT watermelon electric light drink mix and fell in love. No sugar, all salt. I was like, this is new. And you know what? It works. So I decided to work with the LMNT team to try and figure out how we can help every person in our VIP affiliate communities try LMNT. In spirit of the winter holidays, we thought it would be the perfect time to launch our saltiest offer ever to VIP affiliate partner communities. For a limited time, your community will be able to claim a free LMNT sample pack. They only cover the cost of shipping, $5 for U.S. customers. We're expecting this campaign to bring record-setting new customer signups and conversion rates. We can't wait to spread the salt with your community. Here's how it works. Your community members can purchase an LMNT sample pack for the cost of shipping. That's $5 for U.S. orders. This offer is only through VIP LMNT partners. Each sample pack includes 8 packs of LMNT, one of each flavor. The offer is limited to one time per customer. Go to drinklmnt.com today to learn more and tell them Agent Zero sent you.
So I ask you a question. Would you put him and Bill Walton on the same plane? Obviously, Bill Walton has an MVP and a Finals MVP.
No.
So does Bill above Klay?
No.
Okay.
See, Bill's under Klay because Klay's still playing.
Okay.
So the problem with like Klay, Dame, Kawhi will probably still make the list, but he has to go. Anthony Davis, you still got to go up there because you have to test their resume to pull someone else out.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna pull out a Dominique, your stats have to be able to sustain, what he's done. Klay won't have that right now. So I can't fast forward and say, I'm gonna put you in, and we're gonna throw in Luka, and you can't do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I have to be able to put not yet.
And this may just be projecting, but looking at some of these young guys, the Lukas, LaMelo's obviously on a tear this season, the Anthony Edwards of the world, do you see those guys, if they came at an earlier time in their career, potentially having who would make that list from these current crop of guys?
Can't do that.
It's unfair.
But I'm saying it's unfair because someone like T-Mac, right? His first 7 years before he gets injured, he's arguably top 5 best players ever. But he gets hurt. And he don't even make top 75. So you can't fast forward. You can't fast forward. Somebody like Grant Hill.
Yeah.
You can't really just do that. You got to wait till whenever you do that list to put the best players in. So Klay is probably gonna be, when they do the top 100.
He's making that list?
He makes the list. Because when you go backwards, it's still, because gotta remember, by the time he finishes his career, he'll be at the 22,000, 23,000 points. He'll have more All-Stars, more MVPs, probably a scoring title, more defensive awards. Then you can add them all together. So when he's battling against the rest of the field, he's moved. Because you got to remember, when they do top 25, the people who are getting put back in, that's bubble names, they got to get pulled right back right back out again to face the rest of the groups.
Exactly. And it feels like the NBA kind of avoided that for, to have, no public outcry. But I think, putting the 50 guys into the 75 list, somebody had to get booted from that list.
Like your numbers, it shows like your numbers have to be dominant. Like that your numbers, because we can compare numbers to numbers. So like if Bob Cousy, I can say as a player himself, he was a dominant player on that floor.
So you're rocking with Bob.
So no
Cousy.
matter, they can do a top, but I'm saying they can do a top 200. His name probably still won't be pulled out by then.
For sure.
If they erase everybody and put him on, Bob Cousy will still be making the list.
That's interesting.
If you did it fair, that's how you have to do these lists. You have to pull them out to put them back in to see who. You just can't keep grandfathering people in. That's like.
But when I look at a guy like Bob Cousy, he's playing in the league with 8 to 10 teams. Do you knock him at all for that? Because he's not playing against the top basketball players in the world at that point. The NBA still knew at this in his time frame.
But it's still like there's no 3-point line. At that point, the dribbling is different. So, and then with the assists is counted different. So if I have to make a pass, he has to shoot it. Yeah. There's no dribble, create the space, and then make it, and he still gets the assist. Right. So, his 8 assists will probably be 12, 13 in today's time. So you have to be able to manipulate for certain things like that.
Okay, so here's the question I want to ask you. This is a guy who I think is beloved by players. So Andre Iguodala and KD both said that Kyrie should have been on the list. KD even got into a Twitter battle with the legend Dragonfly Jones. And Dragonfly said he loves Kyrie's game, but he said the Hoopers love Kyrie, really love it. KD responded, "You're a casual," and then that led to a whole spat with Dragonfly pointing out he was a fully vaccinated casual. You look at. He won the internet for the day. But, you look at Kyrie, 23 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game, 3-time All-NBA, 7-time All-Star, 2016 NBA champ. Some would argue that he deserved the Finals MVP. I would not be one of those people, but definitely did appreciate his performance. Obviously, the game-winning 3.
What was his total points?
He's at 23 points per game.
No,
I don't know total.
Total.
Hold on. Let me.
He's probably sitting at 11, 12,000 right now.
What we got?
Because I didn't write it because he was an up.
But when you look at a guy like Kyrie, and there's certain players, even somebody like yourself, I would argue, that Hoopers just have an affinity for because they actually are playing against you, see what you can do on the court, see how much you impact the game. So to get the cosign from guys like Iggy and KD, does that hold any weight or value?
So, see, this is the problem with a Kyrie. This is the problem with the active players, right? Kyrie, top 75 of all time? Possibly, yes.
Okay.
But the stats right now are still being done. So you can't be put into a list where you're a 7-time All-Star, right? Was a 3-time All-NBA player, 1 ring, 13,000 points. There's 30 people who have that same stat or better that's not on the list right now. Granted, their careers is over. Kyrie's still playing, so he gets to still add to his resume. So the fact that they did this today, not 10 years from now, say if we're doing this 10 years from now, of course, Anthony Davis is in, Kawhi's in, Kyrie's in, Klay's in. Well, of course those guys are in, but as of right now, their resume is not big enough for it.
So when you look at a guy like Giannis.
You gotta remember, Klay is a 2-time All-NBA. I was a 3-time All-NBA by the age of 25. Hell no, I'm not even close to that list. There's no.
I had 9. Like you're in the neighborhood.
What I'm saying is I'm 10,000 points by 25. If I kept that up, yes. I'm 25,000 points. I'm sitting here probably battling medal for who's going to be 7th or 8th. but that's not the case.
We need to give you that Bill Walton injury exemption.
No,
we're going to petition the league,
but
though.
No, I'm not. But you got to remember, that's all I have. There's no scoring titles. There's no, defense. There's none of that. It's just scoring, and 3 times.
So you look at Giannis, 2 MVPs, final MVP. You're saying guys haven't done enough. Has he done enough to solidify his spot? And is it thing if you get 2 or more MVPs, then is there no question you belong on the list?
With everybody, so if we're talking about, I took 21 players out, right? Putting the rest back in, yes, you make it. Okay. He makes it. You got to remember, there's 3 or 4 bubble players. When I say real bubble players, like you're talking about real bubble players. That's like who can really argue? Dwight Howard, right? No Chris Webber. I mean, what's so funny is, at the end of the day, the Alex English does make it back in. Because you got to remember, you have to, because there's 20-something names, there's only really 2 players that should, their stats. So Dwight Howard, out of 50, there's 55, Dwight Howard, 56. Patrick, that's how you do it. You put them back in. So the only 2 people that really will probably be out of this list will be probably Bill Walton. You got Bill for sure. You see, I caught myself. George Mikan. So Bill, George Mikan.
I'm noticing a trend here, but
stop.
Big man.
Oh, yeah. but it's big man that 10,000 points. Who the can't do that? 10,000. I got 10,000 points, and you're not even the rebounds is not even. So my bubble players, that's like they're definitely out, will be probably somebody like Bill Walton, Rodman.
Ooh, every time you say Rodman,
George Mikan.
a little piece of me.
George Mikan. I mean, Anthony Davis as of right now. Dame Lillard as of right now.
Ooh.
But as I said, 6-time All-Star, 6 times All-NBA. But those are the ones that's out. So what's so funny is what ends up happening is that probably if you're removing 3, those 3 will probably be. Dame and Rodman will be arguing for who's number 76. So like when you take them out, so Alex English would have made it back in. Dwight would have been in. Those are probably the only 2 players that's in, and you take 2 players out. So far.
Are you assaulted at all that the NBA didn't hit you up to vote on this list? I know they watch the show. I know they know what.
No, I'm not. But
you're a basketball mind. I think that's the one thing nobody can argue. Everybody I talked to, I was with Channing Frye last week, and he was just like, yo, Gil's mind and understanding of the game is at a level that few people have. So when they're putting these lists together, it feels like it's even more for show. I think about certain people in the media. I'm not going to name nobody's names because I might have to work with these people, and I'm not going to cost myself a bag.
Mm-hmm. I get it. But your thought process is the same as theirs in voting.
But that's why if they came to me and I'm like, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. They're not gonna burn the bridge.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be about burning the bridge. It shouldn't be about like pissing someone off. It should be about truth. Like we're talking about hooping. We're talking about the greatest 75 of all time. You can't say that list is the best 75 of all time. No way. Some people. Their talent is top 5. They got hurt. They can't make this list. You're talking about somebody like Derrick Rose, right? You're talking about somebody like, it's probably one of the most talented individuals that come in, but he gets hurt. You know, it's unfortunate, right?
Would you hold D Rose on the same plane then as like a Bill Walton? Because
Yes.
I definitely would.
You know,
what I mean?
he has an MVP.
Exactly.
Shit. He has an
They both
MVP.
do. Him and Bill both have MVPs.
But
I
that's
think,
what I said. But that's why Bill can't make it, because you don't have. There's not enough stats for your MVP to just hold you down. It's not enough. It's really not enough to hold you down with the rest of your stats because you got hurt. There's nothing we can do about that. But we can't reward you. We can't reward you and keep somebody out whose stats really define top 75.